Yes, hello and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another Big Finish audio review. Today we'll be taking a look at the other Lost Stories release, the brand new one which came out not too long ago. Both of them were Return of the Cybermen and the Doomsday Contract. I reviewed Return of the Cybermen not too long ago, so if you want to check out the review and you've missed it, go right ahead. But here we are reviewing the Doomsday Contract. This was an unproduced story from season 17, and from the sound of it and when I looked it up, it sounded very fitting for season 17. However, it got pushed back into season 18, but it just didn't make the cut, and it was a story lost in time but brought back to the light by Big Finish. And to be fair, fitting in season 18, like just the plot of it itself, I don't think it would fit season 18. Not at all. I think it would just, it wouldn't fit. Well, yeah, if you watched my review of Return of the Cybermen, that was a disappointment to me. I wasn't a fan of it. It hurts for me to say it. Again, Revenge isn't a great story, and the script isn't particularly amazing, isn't it? But each to their own, really. So I was hoping the Doomsday Contract would be, hopefully, back on track, and we'll be reviewing excellent story. This one's adapted by Nev Fountain. Best way to put it, if you enjoy City of Death, you would like the story, style of writing, just the comedy, the lines, the dialogue. The plot is very fun. And I could say with confidence, it's a very good Fourth Doctor story. Miles better than Return of the Cybermen, in my opinion. That might be controversial. I don't know everyone's opinion of Return of the Cybermen because it's not long been out. From the looks of it, it's mixed. And Doomsday Contract, haven't seen enough really, but I flipping enjoyed this story. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It was charming. From the beginning of the story, we see supporting characters spying on the Doctor and the companions, but they don't seem to be interested in K9 and Romana, but the Doctor. We don't know what that is, and they are transported. Well, first, get carried away here, the Doctor sees a telepathic message from an unknown voice. Do not ignore this message. If you do not obey us, there will be dire consequences. So the Doctor, the companions get ready, and they travel to the destination, and they land in a court proceeding. However, when they land in this court proceeding, they were not the ones responsible for sending the message. In terms of the court proceeding, it's a very unusual one of a plan of an intergalactic corporation wanting to do a project, a developmental project on a planet. This is Earth. But they want to bulldoze the entire planet to do this project. But they're in a court proceeding, and this is to confirm, is there any intelligent life on the planet? If yes, it will not happen. If no, the planet will be bulldozed and swept clean for this project. That's why I did intelligent in quotations, because there is ambiguity and a nuance to what they mean by intelligent. Do they mean technological advancement? Do they mean a thriving, compassionate society that doesn't fight each other and wages wars on each other and create chaos? What does intelligent even mean? Because there's such a nuance to what that means. The Doctor, being an expert on Earth and it being his favourite planet, he has been chosen to be the supporter and the expert of Earth, so he will be defending it and saying and giving the answer, is there intelligent life on Earth? And the man behind the plan is Scorpius, a ruthless, two-faced businessman entrepreneur. He's a little conceited, he's very passive aggressive, he's like pretending to be nice to people, but you can see behind the voice there's a lot of condescending attitude and passive aggressiveness. And to be fair, he's a very ruthless man. When you hear what he has to say, he's known to be quite the schemer and do threats in a very subtle way, disobvious to people. Especially when he was doing a handshake with the Doctor, slipped a note into his sleeve and gave the message. A subtle little threat. During the court proceeding, the Doctor is put in a very difficult situation which he does not know how to deal with it. Romana says, well, I have no idea either. So this really does put the Doctor in a worrisome situation, because they need to even put into perspective of the intergalactic laws. And sometimes here it doesn't feel like Romana has the best faith in the Doctor sometimes. With the Doctor being deliberately difficult and bickering with Tagamoth, which that was pretty funny. There's a lot of funny situations and lines which happens in the court proceedings between part 1 and part 4, absolutely. Especially when the judge, or a future judge, interjects the past judge himself, and he goes, "How dare I interject I?" or something like that. That was so funny, that was. They're trying to find a way of tricking Scorpius, but to be honest, with that character, he doesn't seem to be the easiest person to trick, and not someone to underestimate, because he is known for tricking the system. He may just seem like a thug and a criminal entrepreneur, but he knows how to protect his assets, and he knows how to play his tricks and wins. Part 1 is awesome. Part 1 is awesome. Loved it. Certainly has the plot and the feel of a season 17 story. Yeah, fun, witty, charming. Really enjoyed it. Part 2, we see the monsters of the story. You might see the cover. They're quite bright with light on the cover. They're known as Children of the Pixies. Sounds not threatening at all, doesn't it? No, on screen, on audio, they're very innocent sounding. Well, the words I would describe them as innocent, cute, harmless, and childlike. But for some reason, they are flippin' ruthless in scenes. They also have a psychological effect on people, because they're just known as a myth to people. This doesn't affect Romana, Time Lady obviously, where when they disappear, other people do not have any recollection or memories or events of the Children of the Pixies. They're just when Romana was talking about them, where they showed up, they went, what? Children of the Pixies are just a myth. They don't exist. Romana is very stern and gets really annoyed by the other characters. This one just showing their incompetence and indecisiveness in the situation, just not getting things done. So we're seeing a very more stern and maybe more, not authority figure is probably the right idea, but just putting the authority down, but just putting a foot down, basically, on the situation of what's happening, getting frustrated with all the incompetence which is happening around her, which does frustrate her. More and more, I do like Scorpius in this audio, because he's very resourceful. He doesn't have any computers within his house, because his saying is they're too easily hacked and they're a vulnerability. So he does not use that to store any, let's just say, private information, for example. And then he uses apparent assassins to do his dirty work. And it's said these assassins are the Children of the Pixies. And Smilax, which is one of the other supporting characters within this story, have to get dirt on him and expose him as someone who uses assassins to do dirty work. But again, he's very resourceful. There are two plot lines in this story. The one with Smilax and Romana going to infiltrate Scorpius's house to get dirt on him, trying to find evidence. And the Doctor and K9, they are being transported into a micro-universe. The dialogue in Doctor and K9 is just awesome, where I think one of my favourite lines is where the Doctor says there's only two basic ways of death, and that's the end of the end and the beginning of the end. That's the one where you die unborn, and the one where you die when you've already been born. And K9, being smug as he is, even though it doesn't sound like he is being smug, he interjects the Doctor and says there are 17,000,000 876,973 ways of termination or death. Oh damn, I got it wrong. I just looked at this. It's 43 at the end. I tried to mesmerize the whole thing. In terms of the children of the Pixies and what we discover, it's quite tragic, really. And we'll get into that a little later. I'll just tell you a little bit about it, but rest, just listen to it yourself. Yeah, Scorpius uses these as assassins to do his dirty work. And he's honestly a psychopath because he says he misses killing people himself and seeing dead bodies, because the children of the Pixies don't leave dead bodies, they just vaporize you into nothing at all. And when Romana and Similax are spotted by Scorpius and his security, Romana says that it's unwise to underestimate the Doctor. His reply is, well, I bet he doesn't get underestimated more than me. And to be honest, when he said that, or something similar to that, I honestly believed him. That's a sign of a good written character, when you believe what they say and their motives, because I generally believe this Scorpius guy is underestimated as just some criminal and that's it, but as I've stated multiple times, he's very resourceful and knows how to trick the system to benefit himself. He's not a bad villain, and again, awesome for part 2. Yeah, part 3, when we see the civilization in part 3, at first they don't seem to really care about the Doctor and K9 being in the situation. It just seemed to be, well, by the Doctor's words, just grumpy-faced primitive villagers. But they take an interest later on. On the cover, you can see the Doctor trapped within a wooden cage. We find out that the people on this micro-universe are an old jury who've been there for apparently centuries. The Doctor speculates that the jury was sent there purely because they are incompetent and they didn't do their jobs properly, calling them irresponsible cretins. The foreman does take this to heart and says, well, I did rescue you, so I don't from the primitive village, from the other villagers, so is that really wise to say that? And then later on, like 15 minutes later, he basically just admits that he didn't take his job seriously. And we do see the children of the Pixies attack the micro-universe. This is where it comes to quite of a sad story, because when they're killing people, they don't know they're actually committing bad, evil, because they're very naive, they're ignorant, immature, childish, they just don't understand what's happening around them. They're super easily manipulated into doing whatever's been told. So they may look super cute and innocent and childlike, but they are flipping ruthless, and they don't even realise they're being ruthless. They think they are saving people by, well, basically vaporising them into nothing by the light, as they call it. A really sick, twisted type of evil of manipulating something to believe that is doing good. Children of Pixies believing they're doing something good, but in all honesty, they're not, and they don't even realise they're doing it. I just find that so sick, twistedly evil. And yeah, you thought Scorpius was the bad one, flip it out, but we do see characters that are very two-faced, and they're driven by their own motives and gains and their self-interests in the story. I mean, Similax sometimes isn't great in some places too. He's you can see some signs of being two-faced and stuff. Especially like the scene where he literally shouts at Romana at gunpoint. And Romana's like, I'm only 3 feet away, there's no need to yell. And part 4, I just mentioned one scene in part 4. The stuff around the jury was definitely very funniest, with the judge, the future version of the judge, coming and interrupting himself, and then he says, "How dare I interrupt I?" That whole scene there was just so funny to me. But anyway, what the Doctor was doing, he was definitely doing, best way to describe it is like doing a deal with the devil. And Romana was shocked. Well, everyone was shocked and dumbfounded where the Doctor said, "I'm going to tell the jury that there is no intelligent life on the planet." This is a very 7th Doctor move, this is. It feels like he's playing chess. and then he's not telling them his intentions. Romana says, well, a very powerful line, "I've been angry, upset, frustrated and annoyed at you, but I've never been disappointed in you." That scene really hit, because as much as Romana thinks the Doctor is annoying and frustrating, there's a level of respect and admiration there, but that's been broken by what the Doctor is about to do, and that's basically playing chess and playing with lives, as in how the characters in Romana sees it. That goes to show, I don't think Romana would like the 7th incarnation of the Doctor whatsoever, and Romana makes it clear that their friendship is over if the Doctor plays with people's lives like that. And I won't tell you how that is resolved and stuff. I'll just leave it there for part 4, but that was like a big part which jumped at me from the story. It's like, damn, I like that. Yeah, amazing audio. Part 3 and 4, they're a little bit longer parts. Part 4 is like 35 minutes long. So I would say in the first half is brilliant. The second half, again, brilliant, but it is padded in some places. But overall, it's a fantastic, wonderful, charming Doctor Who story, which is season 17 galore. If you like to see your death, you'll like the story. It's miles better. It is the better Lost story compared to Return of the Cybermen, without question. And it seems to be the one which is in less of the limelight compared to Return. So please check it out. I highly recommend it. I give it an 8. Screw it, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I was thinking 8, but I'm going to bump it a little bit more because it did have scenes which really jumped out to me, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Fantastic story. And it does deserve a mention of best character within the story. That's very difficult because the Fourth Doctor's dialogue, the Fourth Doctor's dialogue was so brilliant in this story. It seemed like Tom Baker had a lot of fun recording the Doomsday Contract and Return of the Cybermen, which warms my heart because he's a lovely man. But Scorpius, fantastic villain. I loved him. He was a well-written villain, in my opinion. 8.5 out of 10 for the Doomsday Contract. So thanks for watching my review of the Doomsday Contract. I'll see you in more Doctor Who videos. Thanks for watching.